Ladies, we're starting to run a little bit late, so let's please sit down so we can get started in our next group. Thank you. So Rochel is Miriam.
I don't know if you see it. You see it? It's hard to see. Oh, there you go. Okay. I'll go like that. Okay, we're starting. Please be quiet.
So we're starting now. If everybody could So this section of our program is called Hashem's Loving Gift of the Yud Gimmel Middos. So this is just a brief 10-minute introduction, and then we're going to split up into 4 groups. And after the introduction, I'll explain to you the 4 different groups, and you can choose which group and which location that you decide to go to. So I'm just going to start with this introduction, and it's going to include a little meditation that's just kind of a little section of what we're going to do in the workshop following this introduction. So this is the 13 Midot HaRachamim, the Yud Gimmel Midot HaRachamim. This shiur is dedicated to the Rechov Yerushalayim of Naomi Bat Elana Shira, Mayan Bat Devar Hadassah, and Shia Ben Sarah Perel, amongst all the Cholei Israel, and they all have a Rechov Yerushalayim. So the Yud Gimmel Midot Rachamim are actually 13 channels to connect to Hashem. They're actually paths of consciousness which we come to liken ourselves to the Borei Ha'olam, our creator. And those of us who learn Rav Ashlag, we've learned here in our Bas Medrash, in his language, it's called Hashva'at Hatzura, that we become like Hashem. We become affinity, closeness to Hashem. And just as we become more and more closeness, we become more equal, we rise in our Kedusha, like Rabbi Rom just explained to us so beautifully. I also want to thank Judy Paikin, may she have a Rechov Yerushalayim, for organizing this, all of the hard work that she puts into this. And Tova Weingart, thank you so much. Really for bringing us all together in this holy city, in this holy gathering. So these 13 traits, attributes, allow us to get an idea, even a little idea, of Hashem's goodness and wholeness. The Midot are recited only with the tzibur at a time of Eid Ratzon, like on Yom Kippur, which will be in another 5 days. 5 days? So we have 5 days to really practice this. It's not like we get to Yom Kippur and we're going to say these 13 Midot Rachamim. We have to use our mochi, we have to use our intellect, we have to use our whole body to let these 13 Middos for us to embody them. And then when we get to Yom Kippur and we say it 26 times, We're gonna really know what we're doing. We're really gonna feel it. So now, before Yom Kippur, Hashem gave us these Aseret Yemei Tshuva to do this exercise, to do this practice, and to give ourselves this time and this space every day to practice. So it's very important to recite them with understanding and a kavana, deep intention. And by learning their inner meaning and by doing this, we actually become Selam Elohim, a mirror image of Hashem. And we become a chariot, a Merkava l'Shekhinah, a channel of the Shekhinah. So these 13 midot are more like a lifeline. They're a lifeline, our connection, our kav to Hashem. And they're actually a framework for our relationship to Hashem. Who knew that if we could just connect to these 13 midot, this is our connection, this is our kav, this is our umbilical cord to Hashem. They're beautifully referred to by Chazal as a rose. These 13 midot are 13 petaled rose. The original rose that Chazal mentioned, because now there's lots of different types of roses, and through science and everything, they've genetically, made different kinds of roses. But the original rose that the Chazal talk about had 13 petals, and they parallel the Yud Gimmel Midot. So let's take a moment and use our dinyon, our imagination, to imagine a 13-petaled rose. You can close your eyes if you'd like. And imprint with each petal a midah of rachamim, of compassion. If you know them, you can stamp them. And if you don't know them, just imagine each petal another channel, another energy of rachamim, another energy of compassion. And now imagine yourself inside the rose. And imagine yourself opening one petal at a time, opening, opening, opening. This reminds me, as I'm saying it, I'm a doula, and one of the meditations for hypnobirthing is imagining your body opening as a rose. So we are doing this type of birth right now. What are we birthing? We're birthing our higher self by using our imagination, by connecting to this 13-petaled rose. And imagine yourself opening, using your ratzon, using your will to these attributes within yourself. And now imagine opening each midah with those around you. Maybe with those here, the women in this room, in our community, in our home. Imagine yourself opening, opening, opening. In Tehillim, in Kapitel Mem 45, it says, Limanatseach al Shoshanim, L'nei Korach, Maskil Shir Yedidot. Rashi says, on al Shoshanim, what does it mean? Lichbod Talmudei Chachamim. The Shoshanim are the Talmudei Chachamim. Yisto Hashir Hazeh Shehem Rachim Kashoshanim. They are tender as roses. Na'im Kashoshanim, beautiful as roses. Martivim V'masim Tovim Kashoshanim, and full of good deeds like roses. So imagine ourselves softly like roses, Kashoshanim, beautiful as we open like roses, Kishoshani, and full of Masim Tovim, Kishoshani. And we actually travel in our tefillos on Yom Kippur. As Rabbi Rom just said, he elaborated on the vidui. The vidui is owning up, coming clean, admitting the truth to ourselves with Nei Hashem, the good as well as the bad. But we go through a process of opening from vidui to the Yud Gimmel Midot. It's kind of a transformation, creating new positive, healthy energy in creation, as we just learned. By doing this, we're actually transforming creation. This is a birth. This is a transformative, creative process. So we say the Yud Gimmel Midot Harachamim immediately following the vidui. And actually, this is a mitzvah. We're transforming ourselves with this mitzvah. So there are two versions of the Yud Gimmel Midot in the Torah, in the Tanakh. The first one is in the Chomesh and Shemot, when Bnei Israel did the Chet HaEgel. Hashem was not going to forgive us, and he was going to annihilate us. And Moshe ascended Har Sinai to plead for mercy. And he made the request to Hashem, and he said, therefore, if I have found favor in your sight, make a way behind your ways known to me. Hashem answered by revealing the Yud Gimmel Midot Harachamim. The Maharal says that the way Hashem showed Moshe, he was wrapped in a talit, illustrating a complete immersion in tefillah, without looking left or right, literally wrapped up in prayer, in meditation. And Hashem taught Moshe that this brit, that this covenant of the 13 midot can actually affect change if one concentrates fully on connecting himself to these midot and through them to the Borei Ha'olam. This is what Hashem taught Moshe. And the second version in Tanakh is the Yud Gimmel Midot that Micha saw of Hashem's Midos Harachamim, which we say during Tashlich. And the Chachamim say that this second version is actually loftier than the first. Why? Because if you notice, I actually have a chart here. Rochel has a chart that they are kind of parallel. So you have the 13 Midot Harachamim of Moshe and the 13 Midot Harachamim of Micha. And you'll see that Micha's version is much more softer, there's much less din. This is also the process. Okay. All right, this is the process. You could look at it after, but it's actually a side-by-side comparison of the 13 Midot. So they're both parallel. So by acting with these midos, we become Tzelem Elokim. And it's actually a mitzvah from the Torah. As it says, the Rambam counts V'halachta b'drachav as one of the 613 mitzvah. As it says in Devarim 28, Ki tishmor et mitzvot Hashem Elokecha v'halachta b'drachav, that we go in his ways. So how do we go in his ways? By learning his midos. I've been learning these midos in Sefer Toma Devora for about 5 years with a chavrusa, and they've been life transforming. Each day we'll learn something new. We'll learn a new mido. or we'll learn not a new one, but a repetition. But each time we learn, we go deeper and deeper into this midah or into this era, and we give ourselves homework. And we actually, like when we've overcome a midah, when we've come into a hard situation, we would like actually note it down, or we would text each other, oh, I just had this hard situation of this particular midah, and that's how we grow, and I highly recommend it. The Lubavitcher Rebbe says on these words, "V'halachta b'drachav," simply it says, just as Hashem is merciful, so should you be merciful. But however, he says, the halachta b'drachav commands us to be halachta, holchim, movers. So when we perform this mitzvah, we must not remain stagnant, but constantly moving and growing through the middos. And actually, in the meditation that I learned and I'm going to share, we're actually going to be moving through this middos. We're going to move them through our body. So I'm just going to give a tiny sample, and then we're going to move on. So everybody, for just 2 minutes, connect to your breath, connect to your neshima, breathing in for 4, holding for 4, breathing out for 4, and holding for 4. And breathe in the light from your keter, from your crown. All these 13 midot are contained in keter. And imagine yourself with these 13 channels originating from keter, flowing down like a fountain, like a mayan, into the bas Medrash, or wherever you are, into this collective space, like a mikvah, gathering the waters of Rechov, into which we are immersing ourselves now, in order to be washed and cleansed in this mayan of the 13 midot and its purifying waters. And if you know them, you can say them in your mind, with the kavanah to wash over and anoint our internal judgments, our self-judgments, the dinning that we have on ourselves. And as they're flowing over you and inside of you, imagine them softening with the infinite love of the Creator, the Ribono Shel Olam, healing them for whatever hurt this past year or damaged, coming down into your body and forgiving yourself. The judgments are being washed away. Our higher self is having rachamim on our lower self. This is a very personal and intimate experience of the Yud Gimmel Midot HaRachamim. V'yinake. And we shall be cleaned, purified. So just take a moment for a couple more breaths to come back into this room. So I'm going to explain now the 4 presenters, and you can choose which one you'd like to go to. The first one is Doba Shaver, and she is going to be, where are you going to be, Doba? Over right here in this room. And her workshop is, it is known that Yom Kippur only atones for sins that are between us and Hashem. But sins between us and our fellow Jews are not pardoned unless we ask for forgiveness. How do we do this? Tomer Devorah teaches how. So that's the first workshop. And then Shayna Elka Falk. Where's Shayna Elka? She's going to be in the dining room. And her workshop is the 13 Middos of Hashem and the 5 ways to do tshuva, a workshop based on Bilvadi. Tshuva can be seen as an acronym of Taf, Tamim, Tihiyu, be simple with Hashem, and then Shin, and then Vav, and then Hey. And that's with Shayna Elka Falk. And then the third one is with Miriam Krauss. It's going to be here. Miriam. And it's on Hashem's amazing unconditional love for every Jew and how each of us can reciprocate and return to him with love, learning from Rashi or Achayim and the Hasidic teaching. So we have to do it. We have to do this again. We'll do it again, and mine's going to be outside. So. Oh, my title. I'm reading it. My title is "Turning the 13 Attributes of Mercy to Transform Our Emotions."
They're all so exciting. Okay, sorry, Zoom. You'll have to be here next time.